Andaba solo y delirante, viví aventuras sin detalles, nunca pensé tener amor. Tratando de cambiar el mundo, a mi manera aunque sin rumbo, más tu cariño me quemó. Buscando a ciegas un amante, toqué 1000 puertas en la calle para vencido terminar. Y fuiste tu el último intento, amor que hace cambiar el tiempo, descansa en mí para vivir. Mujer no es cualquiera, hay que tener muy grande el corazón para calmar.
And Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Look, a second show in only 3 days. I'm impressed with myself.
Okay, I'm going to add something in right now.
Right.
Tinkerbell, right now, endorse you and me.
Yes. Because of the music?
Because of the show.
See?
She has missed you.
Yes. Whenever I'm gone for too long, she gets a little pissy. But, I'm glad she does.
But she is your number one fan.
She is my number one fan. For those of you who are not familiar with Tinkerbell is a fan from Cabo, Mexico, right?
Somewhere in Mexico.
And she loves the show. She wears the T-shirt.
She's a very silly woman who absolutely adores you. She is your number one fan.
I agree.
Because she's never met you.
What, do you think if she met me, she'd hate my guts?
Oh, no, I think she'd love you even more.
By the way, we have a standing invitation to go visit her. And stay in Cabo at her house. So we can
actually take a vacation?
Yes.
All right.
Now, for those of you who don't know, that is my girlfriend, the Russian, who is chiming in today. We haven't had her by here in quite a few months, actually. And she decided to grace us with her presence today.
Because I'm so graceful.
I know. And we're gonna be talking about a few things. She helped me pick out the show topics today. She helped me pick out the music today. She's the producer today and the color commentator. All right, so
you're wearing turquoise.
I am. Now, what is going on in the news that is of interest? Well, let's start out with that big Malaysia missile attack, the Malaysia Airlines attack. Where a plane carrying 297 people.
You mean the airline we're never flying?
Exactly. Was recently shot down by a surface-to-air missile. Nobody is so far claiming credit for it. Not the Ukrainians, not the pro-Russia Ukrainians, not the separatists, not the Russians. Though we're pretty sure the Russians did it, aren't we? We're pretty sure it was the Russians. Come on, it was Russians. But nobody's claiming credit for it. And it was a non-military plane. It was a plane that was just going somewhere, and it was just shot down. So as far as they know, everybody dead.
But wasn't the first plane also just going somewhere?
Right, but okay, the Russian is making a reference here to what happened last year, or actually, it may have been this year.
They haven't found the plane.
But they haven't found the plane. They found what they think is wreckage, and about the 275 people that disappeared on that plane. See, that plane just disappeared. We don't know whether it was shot down, it was caught in a storm.
Or Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
Okay.
And this has sparked up a lot of controversy. Not necessarily of importance to me when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. I've already talked about Ukraine and Russia and all their issues. We can get into that a little later. But right now, I want to talk about the title of today's show, which is Jason Biggs the Devil? For those of you who don't know who Jason Biggs is, well, if you ever saw the movie American Pie, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many they made. And you know that he's the star of that movie. He's also on a very good show that my girlfriend here watches, Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, he's a total dick on that show, by the way.
Yes, he is. But he's supposed to be a dick. It's okay.
Well, you know what? His fiancée was imprisoned for smuggling drugs,
Right.
and he abandoned her completely.
Okay, a little off topic there.
Okay.
We're just talking about Jason Biggs, not his character in the show. We're talking about Jason Biggs. Anyway, recently Jason likes to tweet. He loves to tweet, and he likes to be very honest about his tweets, and he likes to be very forthcoming about his tweets. And he recently tweeted a joke about the Malaysia shooting, the missile attack, wherein he wrote, it's like, it's so horrible this happened. It's really sad. I was wondering, does anybody want to buy my stock in Malaysia Airlines? Apparently, he got some backlash for that, and people are all pissed off. It's like, it's too soon. How dare you? That's terrible. We're talking about people, 297 people and all their families are all suffering. They're all doing this, and he shot back. He didn't apologize, which is what I was really proud of. He didn't apologize.
He didn't?
No. What he did was tweet it again. No, I'm proud of him. Don't roll your eyes. I'm proud because he said, I used humor to deal with a very awful, painful, horrible situation. Because he said, of course I feel bad about it. Of course I feel bad for the loss of human life. But I wasn't making fun of the people that died. He was making fun of, it was like, well, the stock options. And you know what? In today's business section in the LA Times, they're talking about how Malaysia Airlines is probably fucked because as far as they know, it is only it's the first airline that has had 2 of their planes go down within a calendar year. So yeah, their stocks are going through the shit right now. But I do agree with a lot of what he had to say, which is, yeah, it was a joke, and obviously I didn't mean it to be cruel or to be cold, but to deal with a horrible situation.
Okay, I'm going to interject.
Interject.
We both, you and I, like to inject levity into something that's very, very morbid. You more so than me, but when something seems really, really dark, you want to make fun of it. You know what? Cancer is not fun.
No.
Liver disease is not fun. Pancreatitis, hepatitis, not fun. But it can make your liver look really good.
Well, the question I think really is, I have 2 questions here. One is, are we never allowed to make fun of the tragedies in life? I mean, okay, does following this logic, does that mean I shouldn't make fun of all the people that died on the Titanic?
No, I think that you should absolutely make fun of all of it.
Or the Hindenburg, or I can never make. You know what? I was one of the few people on this planet that a week after 9/11, I was making 9/11 jokes. Yeah. And you know what? People were laughing because they understood that there was pain involved, but that I was making a statement about the situation.
Yeah. You know what? I just rewatched Godfather Part 2, where they were inspecting people's eyebrows for lice.
Right.
And then they incarcerated them.
Okay, you're going to have to bring me up to speed as to what this has to do with this.
You make fun of it because he made a beautiful life for himself, his wife, and his child. He overcame. Sorry, that wasn't funny.
A little rambling there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, the second point I was trying to make, you stop derailing us. You're derailing. Okay, the second point I was making the point that he was making light of this, but not to be cruel. And the second thing is also when are you allowed to make fun of something? I mean, are you going to tell me that you've never heard a Holocaust joke in your life? Never heard a joke about the Nazis. You never heard a joke about black people, Chinese people, white people. And here's the second point, finally. I don't know a single person on that fucking plane.
No.
And I've said this many times. I don't care about the people on that plane. People die every day you've never heard of, and your life continues on. But because it's on the news, we act as if it's a big fucking deal that almost 300 people died. You know what? Way more than that die every day. You know, but don't act as if you're a better person because you don't make jokes about it, or because you sent them $10 for a relief fund, or you're not a better person. You're just a person that decided to do something, and good for you that you decided to help out. But that doesn't mean that everybody else that doesn't give a shit is a bad person. You know? Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about the whole Malaysia story. Actually, wasn't planning on spending that much time on it. Okay, but let's do something a little lighter. I'm going to do something a little light. Okay. Now, I don't know what you guys, what your dairy plan is these days. I mean, I don't know if you eat dairy of any kind. Do you like milk? And I know a lot of you out there. We all started out with cow's milk, and some of us had goat's milk.
Started out with breast milk.
Well, yes, of course. We started out with titty milk.
Yeah.
Human titty milk.
Yeah, that's not cow's milk.
Good stuff. But actually, a lot of people have not started out with breast milk. Remember, a lot of them couldn't have breast milk for any number of reasons. And people were given formula before without ever having breast milk.
Okay.
That has happened. But you are correct. Most people have started out with breast milk. Breast milk, cow's milk, some goat's milk. Then people who have soy milk, almond milk, rice milk. It's like, I don't know where you squeeze the teats on a piece of rice. But, now, here's my question. Would you be willing to drink camel's milk?
No.
What?
Because I'm guessing it comes from the hump, and no.
It does not come from the hump. But
I'm making you laugh.
But according to this, though, there are certain qualities to camel's milk that actually makes it healthier than cow or goat milk. Well, let's start here. When it comes to calories, cow's milk 150, goat's milk 140, camel's milk a slim 110. It's not bad.
They don't look slim.
Okay, well that's because they carry all the fat in their humps. Total fat.
I fall back.
Okay. Cow's milk, total fat 8 grams. Goat's milk 7 grams. Camel's milk 4.5 grams of fat.
Where exactly does camel's milk come from?
Camel titties. Camels have teats just like any other. They have them. Cholesterol. Cow's milk 30 milligrams. Goat's milk, 25 milligrams. Camel milk, 15 milligrams. Saturated fat. Cow's milk, 5 grams. Goat's milk, 4 grams. Camel's milk, 3 grams. It's really, overall, it sounds healthier if you want to lose weight. But the big difference comes when it comes to the vitamins. Now, when it comes to, say, vitamin A, both... cow's milk has 4%, goat's milk has 6%, and camel milk has 4%. Calcium, 30% of your daily value across the board. But when it comes to vitamin D, cow's milk has 25% of your daily RDA, goat's milk 25%, camel's milk only 6%. But that's the only area where camel milk fails. I'd try camel milk. I'd do it. I would.
Well, you like trying new things.
I do. And now it's time for celebrity birthdays. Before we take our first break today. Okay, if your birthday is July 18th, you share a birthday with Vin Diesel, who is 47. Richard Branson is 64. He's the owner of Virgin Everything.
Really?
Yeah. John Glenn is 93. Man just can't stop going into space.
Still walking on the moon?
Singer MIA is 39 years old. No idea who that is. James Brolin is 74.
Wow.
Basketball great Penny Hardaway is 43. And the great Joe Torre of baseball fame is 74 years old today. All right. We are going to take our first break. The Russian and I are going to be with you for the next half hour. Please continue to listen. Today's music is brought to you by Papa Ross. His first song was Mujer no es cualquiera, which for you Anglos translates into a woman like no other. His next song is called Amigo. And if I have to explain that to you, you should have paid attention in Spanish class. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and we'll be right back.
Amigo, tú cambiaste mis colores y hoy quiero pienses antes de partir. Tus flores aún viven muy adentro, son las marchites, quizás no quieren morir. Tu fuego ya quemó mis sentimientos, mas no tengo cuerpo, está impregnado junto a ti. Recuerda que en el cielo las estrellas se alejan para darle paso al sol. Llévate todo lo que tú quieras de mí, llévate ese cuerpo de hombre infernal, llévate mi último suspiro de abril, que otra primavera con tus quejidos recordaré. Llévate todo lo que tú quieras de mí, llévate ese cuerpo de hombre infernal, llévate mi último suspiro de abril, que otra primavera con tus quejidos recordaré. No te vayas, no te vayas, amigo, no me dejes, amigo, no me olvides, que yo te quiero a ti, mi amigo, ay, no me dejes el corazón herido, recuerda que en el cielo las estrellas se alejan para darle paso al sol, recuerda que en el cielo las estrellas se alejan para darle paso al sol.
And Joe the Shirt is once again off the cuff with my special guest, my girlfriend, the Russian, who is here once again. Good to have you back, Babydoll. What are we talking about? Okay, let's talk about, you know what, how about this, baby? We have a whole bunch of topics here. You want to pick one for me? Which
How
one?
about that one?
Okay, this is one that I have mentioned before, but I'm going to mention it again because it just seems stupid to me. A few weeks ago, I mentioned about how, you know, California is trying to decide whether or not to give endangered species status to wolves. And, you know, but everybody's concerned about protecting the wolf population and keeping it under control and making sure it doesn't get too big. And I remind you, we have one. We have one wolf in the entire state of California, but we can't decide whether or not to give it protected status. And this relates to this story right here. Now, for those of you who love the comic books and movies, you know the word Wolverine. All right, we're not talking about Hugh Jackman here, though. We're talking about the actual animal, part of the weasel family, related to mongooses and badgers. It is close to being an apex predator. It is an animal that can shred a moose or your dumbass quite easily. Gigantic claws, gigantic teeth, very muscular, thick fur. It will fuck your shit up. But we're trying to decide whether or not in this country we can give wolverines protected status, you know, to protect their numbers, to keep it from going extinct within the United States. And of course, the reason that wolverines are a problem is because they are close to being apex predators. They can bring down large animals, like I said, a moose or any other kind of deer, you know, animals that we like to go hunting. But they can also bring down your cow, your pig, your goat, your dog, So that's the real reason. We want to protect our livestock, our money, even though there are federal programs in place for farmers and ranchers that if you lose livestock to certain predators, they'll pay you for it. Now, the question is, how many wolverines are there in the United States?
According to that article,
yes,
300.
300, exactly, 300 in 3 states. That's it. There aren't wolverines hanging around in New Mexico. There aren't any wolverines hanging out in New York. There's 3, like somewhere in the middle states, like Wyoming and shit like that. There aren't a whole lot. Montana, they're practically Canadian. But apparently, we don't feel the need, in a country of 330 million human beings, we don't feel the need to protect the future of a mere 300 wolverines. So you got a picture of Wolverine here. Look at that. Ain't he cute?
Oh, he's adorable.
He's a vicious killer, but he's damn cute, Just like Hugh Jackman. A vicious killer, but damn cute.
Thank you for that.
Actually, we got a couple of let's do some celebrity news. We haven't done celebrity news in a while. Lindsay Lohan is suing Grand Theft Auto, the video game. Well, because apparently, according to this, Lindsay Lohan filed a lawsuit against the makers of Grand Theft Auto 5, claiming they used her likeness for one of the characters in the popular video game. The suit says Lohan's image, voice, and styles from her clothing line are depicted. It says the game features West Hollywood's Chateau Marmont Hotel, where Lohan once lived. The character appears in the game hiding behind a car from paparazzi before asking one of the main characters for a ride. Quote, this is what the character says in the game, "Please, I'm hardly wearing any makeup." End quote. Later, Jonas gets frustrated when the main character doesn't recognize her. And this is what the character says in the video game: "I'm really famous. I didn't do anything. This is my average commute." So Lindsay Lohan is suing for...
Do you know why?
What?
She needs money for legal fees.
Most likely. You're probably right on that one, yeah. So Lindsay Lohan is suing. But she's not the only celebrity these days that's suing for image theft. Manuel Noriega is suing... I don't remember the name of the video game series right now, where I think it's one of those big online shooter like games that you play with other people, where he's depicted, looking like himself and doing shit, and he's 80 years old and he's suing a video game company for his likeness. I'm like, okay, good for you. Now, for those of you who did not enjoy the newest Transformers movies because Shia LaBeouf isn't in it, well, you might... there's a reason for that. Shia LaBeouf apparently has a drinking problem. According to this, Shia LaBeouf is being treated for alcohol addiction, according to his publicist, after the actor's arrest during a production of Cabaret in New York. Shia LaBeouf has not checked into a rehabilitation facility, but he is voluntarily receiving treatment for alcohol addiction. LaBeouf, who is 28, arrived back in L.A. on Sunday and was photographed on Monday and Tuesday holding the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Apparently, he exhibited violent behavior towards patrons at Studio 54 where Cabaret was performed. He stood up in the audience and yelled at the actors on stage. According to the criminal complaint, in which an officer said the actor was screaming, spitting, and asking, "Do you know who I am?" He actually pulled the old "Do you know who I am" bit. Shia LaBeouf. More celebrities, drugs, and alcohol involved. Now, babe, you remember Robert Downey Jr.'s issues early on in his career with drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, he's been clean and sober for 10 years now.
Right. And he's been wildly successful. I mean, You got your Iron Man movies, your Avengers movies, your what was it, Sherlock Holmes movies, and then all the little independent and smaller films that he's done. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is fucking everywhere, you know. But at one time, he had a serious problem with drugs and, you know, getting high and drunk and doing it in public, which was his biggest problem. I've always maintained that, you know, doing drugs is like eating pizza. You can do it at the pizza place. You can take it to go, or you can get your drugs delivered.
And this time you can get pretty much all three.
Right, but we're not talking about Robert Downey Jr. We're actually talking about his son. Apparently, a sheriff's deputy in West Hollywood arrested the 20-year-old son of actor Robert Downey Jr. on Sunday after he was allegedly observed smoking cocaine from a pipe while riding in a vehicle near Santa Monica and La Cienega Boulevard. That's down the street from us.
That's around the corner.
That's a whole, 2 blocks away.
Not even.
You know, Santa Monica and La Cienega, okay, if you want to come by and kill me, just look around Santa Monica and La Cienega. That's pretty much where I live. And according to this, deputies searched the vehicle and found a pipe and what Valentine, that's his name, Valentine Downey, described as a small amount of cocaine. Downey was booked at the West Hollywood station for possession, which is like a half mile from where we live, and of a controlled substance, and was released early Monday morning on $10,000 bail. In a statement to the press, Robert Downey Jr. said he did mention that there's probably a genetic factor involved.
Really?
That because he was a drug addict, that's why his son's a drug addict.
That's possible.
It's possible. All right. Speaking of drugs and alcohol, do you remember who Rob Ford is?
No.
Rob Ford is the mayor of Toronto, or at least he was, up until, you know, he was busted for being publicly intoxicated and observed smoking crack cocaine with known drug dealers. So he went to rehab, and he's running for mayor again, which is not unprecedented. Remember Marion Barry? He was the mayor of Washington D.C. Busted on video, smoking crack. They reelected him.
So why not this guy?
Exactly. Now here's the thing though. He's not sure whether or not he's going to stay sober. According to this,
After rehab?
he says he couldn't guarantee they would stay sober if reelected, telling a radio talk show host that people would have to trust him. Ford, who returned to the city council this week after 2 months of treatment and rehab, said in an interview that he couldn't make promises about something over which he has no control. You're going to have to look at my record and compare it to the people I'm running against, and you're basically going to have to trust me.
No.
Now, you know, generally speaking, I don't really give a shit if people drink too much and smoke crack, but when they're handling, I don't know, my government and my money, I tend to get worried about it. Okay. Gary Oldman issued an apology recently.
For what?
Mel Gibson. According to this, Gary Oldman has apologized for defending fellow actors Mel Gibson and Alec Baldwin over their controversial remarks about Jews and gays. Quote, I am deeply remorseful that comments I recently made in the Playboy interview were offensive to many Jewish people. Upon reading my comments in print, I see how insensitive they may be and how they may indeed contribute to the furtherance of a false stereotype. Now, during the Playboy interview, Oldman decried the political correctness that ensnared Gibson and Baldwin. Gibson, of course, delivered the very famous anti-Semitic rant in 2006 while being arrested for drunk driving, which he later apologized for. And Baldwin last year was accused of using an anti-gay slur in a New York City street confrontation. He called somebody a faggot. That's what he did. In his letter, Oldman wrote, "I hope you will know that this apology is heartfelt, genuine, and that I have an enormous personal affinity for the Jewish people in general and those specifically in my life."
But Gary Oldman's not Jewish.
Well, neither am I, but I have an affinity for Jewish people. And finally, do you like hot dogs? I like hot dogs. The defending champion of the annual Nathan's Famous 4th of July International Hot Dog Eating Contest held on to his mustard belt in Coney Island. Joey Jaws Chestnut of San Jose downed 61 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Okay, you're making me sick now.
Mind you, this falls short of his all-time record of 69 hot dogs. And it is time for a break. Thank you for listening to this. We have more music here from Papa Ross, and their song "Por ti soy feliz." Because of you, I'm happy. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and we'll be right back.
La dueña de mis sueños, la que cultiva mi vivir, como tierra sin tiempo que siempre da frutos me hace sentir, suave y fresca como brisa, te prefiere mi palmar, princesa por dentro. Sentimiento es grandeza espiritual.
And Joe Shirt is still off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. I'd like to thank my girlfriend, the Russian, for joining in with us today. She needs to go take a nap. But I thank her for sharing today and participating in the show. Okay, it's time for the wisdom of rappers, or also known as Rapper's Wisdom. And today's wisdom comes from the one and only Eminem, and his song, I think it's called "I'm Sorry Mama." And this is the excerpt I chose for today's wisdom of rappers. Wasn't it the reason you made that CD for me, Ma? So you could try to justify the way that you treated me, Ma? But guess what? You're getting older, and now it's cold when you're lonely. And Nathan's growing up so quick, he's going to know you're phony. And Haley's getting so big now, you should see her. She's beautiful, but you'll never see her. She won't even be at your funeral. See, what hurts me the most is she won't admit you was wrong. Bitch, do your song. Keep telling yourself that you was a mom. But how dare you try to take what you didn't help me to get? You selfish bitch. I hope you fucking burn in hell for this shit. Remember when Ronnie died and you said you wished it was me? Well, guess what? I am dead. Dead to you as can be. Ah, beautiful. Ah, just fantastic. Eminem, bringing it real. Sometimes I like to go over these songs word by word, but today I'm going to go with a general overview of it, and that is that a lot of what he's saying is that nobody is entitled to forgiveness. I truly believe that. I don't think that no one is entitled to forgiveness. You know what? They have to earn forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that's given. All right? You don't deserve forgiveness. It's something that you earn. It's something that's given to you. And Eminem's history has been very well publicized in the media with his mother about how she was a drug addict and she was never there for him, and that after he made it big, all of a sudden she's pretty much suing him, and I know a lot of you out there love your mother. Most of you do. I love my mother. But that doesn't mean that your mother is entitled to be forgiven for anything. A lot of people will say stupid shit like, there's nothing my mother could do that I wouldn't forgive her for. Bullshit. That's 100% bullshit. Okay? Your mother, your father, every person that you know and love is capable of doing one fucking thing that you will not forgive them for. You just haven't thought of it. You don't have the balls to think about it. You don't want to go there. And everybody always thinks the same thing. Oh, I understand that that's happened to other people, but it could never happen to me and my family, me and the people I love. Bullshit. And that's what I think this song is really about. He feels fucked over. And now he's angry, and now he's lashing out. And you know what? I don't think he should forgive her. Fuck her. But you gave me life? Big fucking deal. What's the point of giving someone life if you're going to treat them like shit? And it's like, oh, I gave you life, but I made you a slave. Oh, I gave you life, but I sold you. Oh, I gave you life, but I ignored you your entire life. You know what? That's not a gift. That's a sentence. Thank you, Eminem. Thank you for enlightening us on this. Now, one of my favorite topics I haven't had a chance to talk about recently is espionage. The reason I bring this up is because Germany is all pissed off at us. The U.S., also spelled us. Apparently, there were German spies that were American spies who were German, living in Germany, and that were feeding American intelligence officers information. And Germany is all pissed off about it. According to this, according to this, Germany has a deepening unhappiness with reports of U.S. intelligence operations targeting its officials. One German has been arrested, and an investigation of another has been launched in the last 2 weeks on suspicion of espionage. Both are suspected of passing secrets to the United States. Now, the White House spokesman, Josh Earnest, refused to discuss intelligence matters, saying that, quote, any sort of comment on any reported intelligence acts will put at risk U.S. assets, U.S. personnel, and the United States national security. Now, this conflict, you may remember, between the two governments began last year when former NSA contractor Edward Snowden exposed U.S. spying operations in Germany, including the monitoring of Merkel's cell phone. In October, Der Spiegel published an article about NSA operations at the U.S. Embassy with the headline, The NSA's Secret Spy Hub in Berlin. Okay, look, I'm more than willing to bet that the United States is spying on Germany, spying on Russia, spying on China, spying on Korea, spying on Japan, spying on Mexico, spying on Canada, spying on Brazil, spying on Jamaica. I'm sure they're spying on Missouri, okay? The United States spies on everybody. Not just its enemies, it spies on its friends, okay? That's what espionage is really about. Espionage is about the gathering of information. And we're not the only ones that do it. Pretty much every developed country on the planet does it. And every undeveloped country on the planet tries to do it. And what's really hysterical is that espionage is against the law, is illegal in every country. And yet every country goes around doing it. So, you know what, Germany, I understand you're pissed off, We had moles in your institution giving us information about what it is you're doing. I don't know if you're planning an invasion or a Fourth Reich, or maybe we just want to get your sauerkraut recipe, but truly, go fuck yourself. You're spying on us anyway. Oh, my God. Now, healthcare is always a big fun issue for me, especially since I don't have any. But I'm in the middle of getting some. I am. Now that I'm working full time again. Now, here's something that I find disturbing about U.S. healthcare. Despite having the costliest care of 11 industrialized countries, the U.S. ranks last on healthcare quality and access. So, okay, Americans pay more for healthcare than any other industrialized country out there out of 11 of them. And we get the worst care. Isn't that supposed to work the other way? You know, you get what you pay for. I'm paying top dollar. Shouldn't I be getting top care? No, you don't. The other top ranked countries, let's see, were Switzerland and Sweden, respectively. Canada ranked second worst from the United States, and France was third worst, just above the U.S. at the bottom of the rankings. Wow. That sucks. According to this, the U.S. spent an average of $8,508 per person on health care in 2011, as compared with $3,406 in the United Kingdom. So, okay. In the United Kingdom, people spent 60 to 65% less money for health care and got better health care than they did here. The U.S. also ranked last among the 11 industrialized countries on infant mortality. So, despite being allegedly one of the most modern countries in the world, one of the most industrialized countries in the world, with some of the greatest freedoms in the world and some of the greatest medicine in the world, we are dead last amongst 11 countries when it comes to infant mortality rate. So more than any of these countries, our kids die a little bit after being born than anybody else's. And according to this, due to the lack of health care that Barack Obama continues to try to push, on us, for us, depends on your point of view, on us or for us, 40% of U.S. adults who had visited emergency rooms said that they could have been treated by a regular doctor if one had been available. Absolutely disgusting. Okay. Let's see. What else have we got here? All right. Couple of quick stories here before we finish out here. I think I've done this story before, but I'll mention it really quick here. Here in Los Angeles, the courts have struck down a ban on living in your car. Apparently, there was a big push to prevent people from living in their cars because they believe that it increased the homeless problem. If I have somewhere to go, I'm not homeless. I just have to move my car before the street sweeper comes by. That's all. But apparently it became a big deal because people. It wasn't because it was increasing the homeless problem. It was because people in residential neighborhoods or neighborhoods where overnight parking was allowed were pissed off that people were taking up their parking spaces that they could be using for their cars. Now the problem with the law was that it was very, very broad in its interpretation. For instance, if you were, say, taking a nap in your car, having a sandwich in your car, drinking a soda in your car, you would be considered homeless and would have to move or be arrested. Now, because of where I work, there isn't a lot of restaurants nearby, and so I bring my lunch with me. And unlike a lot of people, I detest the idea of having my break where I work, and the break room is non-existent. So what I do is I take my lunch, I take my drink, I get into my car, I find a shady spot, and I just eat and drink in my car, listen to the radio. But according to this particular law, I could be arrested for vagrancy, even though I have somewhere to go. So, yeah, the law was a little too broad, I think. And finally, let's see what I'm going to do here today. You may have heard that the abortion clinic buffer zone has been nixed. And what this was for the longest, for a while now, there was a law that was put into place that made it illegal for abortion protesters to come within 35 feet of an abortion clinic. This was done in order so that people that were seeking abortions would not be harassed by said protesters. Which, when you think about it, if you're a 15-year-old girl, you got knocked up, and you don't want to tell your parents about it, and you want to, go have an abortion and just have it be over with, having, 30 or 40 people screaming in your face that you're a fucking murderer kind of sucks. Anyway, that is it for my time. One more song for you by Papa Ross, Mi Camioncito. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I've been off the cuff. Thanks for listening. Cut out early, what can I tell you? I ran long today, so I had to cut out early.